Shalom, shalom, Barakatah Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakakodash. Double honors to our apostles and elder bishops here at Great Millstone. Shalom to you brothers who's pushing the work in truth with all sincerity. So the name of this lesson is, Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord hath not done it? Shall there be evil in the city and the Lord hath not done it? Alright, we're going to play a video. This Edomite shooting at a so-called black people's reunion, family reunion. There's a lot that came to my mind. You know, no one ended up getting hurt. Actually, the Edomite was the one that got shot. But I want to speak to, a few points. One of those points is, Esau waxing bold. And another point is the Lord using Esau. He's turning Esau on, 2/3. All right. It's pretty much a culling, the Lord's about to cull Jake, and but of course, it's not gonna be a total annihilation, this is a pretense for the riots of the races, and again, a lot of people are angry. You got a lot of different, factions in America who are at odds with other factions, whether it be racial groups, religious groups, political groups, you name it. This America is divided every which way, and you're only going to see more violence. Okay, now no one ended up getting hurt, even a guy that pretty much was the Edomite that was carrying the AR, or he drove past, which we don't get into slack, but a few things to take from this, and I might do some commentating, so Lord willing, this is edifying and fair use. This is for educational and entertainment purposes only, and monetizing this. So here we go. You're right, and the first person you hear is a nigger woman in the background, a so-called black woman. Okay. The Lord is about to make things very uncomfortable in America. All right, and reality is about to hit this place, and the number one group of people that's going to feel the reality hit and shift really fast is the so-called black woman. All right, because they have the most pride, and I will speak. I'm gonna try to keep this short. I'm gonna speak a little bit to Jake's naiveness of this whole situation, and how it plays part in our people as a whole, on their naivety and their complacency and absolute unawareness of what's going on in the world. You are unaware due to willful ignorance, and that's going to be the downfall of many, because the Lord has called us to essentially wake up from the sleep. We've been getting our butts kicked for centuries by way of oppression, systematic oppression, by way of Edomite so-called white man hatred towards us. We've been violated in every which way. We've been exploited in every which way. And that was essentially us serving our punishment for the evils that we've done throughout the ages towards the Heavenly Father. He's only punished us, and that's what America has been. Okay? But the Lord has opened it up for you to receive the truth and receive the understanding of why these things are happening in the world. And you see the naiveness of our people, the complete complacency, the complete pride, arrogance, and other things that make up, the so-called blacks' reality. All right, slide. So here we go. Having a good time now. Everybody having a good time. You see all the smiling, and we told you it was coming. We told you that these Edomites are going to start becoming more hostile. All right, especially because price of living is going up, and it's going to draw a lot of people to do some malignant, malicious things. Not all people, but the most disturbed. We'll say it like that, okay? Because not all Edomites are going to participate, but a very large number of Edomites, they want, they're going to be, pretty much getting their hands dirty. That's him driving up. Now notice that he'll be out the window. That's the Edomite pulling up, blowing his horn. And that's him hanging out the window. And so, a lot of people are tired of black culture. Black culture is the worst thing going. All right, especially for, so-called blacks, it's the worst thing going. But the main person that's tired of it, all right, is the Most High Yahweh. All right, Ba'ashem Yahushua, the Lord himself is tired of it. And this is a sign that, he's definitely going to, allow your enemy to do something. All right, Amos 3:6 again. I think I read it. I'm not sure, but Amos 3:6. Shall the trumpet be blown in the city, and the people not be afraid? Right? Shall there be evil in the city, and the Lord hath not done it? And now the trumpet that's blown in the city, that's the prophet. That's the men of the Lord. Pretty much warning you of what's to come, and not only warning you, as it says here. Isaiah 58:1, it says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and shew my people their transgression, in the house of Jacob their sins. All right, that's you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The men of the Lord, that's the trumpet that has been blown in the city, and our people have not been afraid. It says, and the people not be afraid. And it's asking the question, it's just the people, that you should be afraid, okay? You should be afraid. But are they? No, they don't care for reality. All right, they just want to party and satisfy, their pleasure, so satisfy themselves with pleasure. And it's built up a naiveness because, we weren't free. And I was speaking about this earlier, we've been oppressed for the longest, and they had our foot on our necks, and well, it came a time where the Lord said, pretty much enough. He allowed, this devil to give you some space, so to speak, the civil rights and all of that stuff. Now he's drawing all those things back. He's taking all those things back, all right? And he's about to get violent again. This is just, and they've always been violent to us, but the Lord has pretty much, died it down. It was a point where we couldn't go outside and look at white people. We had to walk with our heads down, and that's, well, they want to bring that back. All right, they say it themselves, all you got to do is go on Twitter. All right, and you'll see all the rhetoric, you'll see all the, justifications of hating so-called Negroes. Okay, which, I can say, just going back, Salaki, I don't want to be all over the place, but, the Lord has given us the truth now. So, our people, these, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans have deliberately now to do what they please, and have been having that for some time, but it wasn't for you to be in that spirit of jollity. It was for you to be in the spirit of, mourning and praying and crying unto the Lord to deliver us from this place, America. Because even these Negroes, these so-called blacks, would, they'll come to the conclusion that, well, then we just can't catch a break in this place, America. And for the love of me, you will not listen to the prophets that constantly tell you this is not your rest. This is not a continuous city for the so-called Negro, Latino, and Native American. That's why they destroyed Black Wall Street. That's why they destroyed Wilmington. That's why they lynched you. And we live in the same, under the same people. I'll just put it like that. Okay, but the time you're supposed to be mourning, these people are they're partying. As you can see, at some point they have rejected the truth in some way, some type of fashion. Okay. So, yeah, let's go back. My bad. That's Jake being tough, and him standing in the street, by the way, and look, these Edomites see everything that so-called blacks do is nigga culture, because that's what the media, tells them. All right, you're a bunch of animals. And in fact, when you go into that word, the culling, to cull. Okay, because that's what the Lord is doing. All right, it says choose, select, pick, collect, and gather the best things from in number or quantity. All right, so when we go more into it, here it says meaning. Select livestock according to quality is from 1889. Notion of select and kill animals, usually in the name of reducing overpopulation or improving the stock, is related from 1934. So that's what's happening. It says 1958. It says from 1791, a selection, something picked out as flock animal selected as inferior. So, and that's what the Lord is doing. He's about to get rid of the inferior Israelites, and he's going to allow Esau to pounce you and to do, to take your life, 1958 as a killing of animals deemed inferior. Okay. So that's what's about to happen, because, you see Jake overall, they show this naivety. They don't know what's going on in the world. And they had the chance to understand what was going on in the world, but they rejected the prophet. They mocked the prophets. So yeah, the Lord's going to allow your enemies to overcome you, but they ain't going to overcome all, Jake, Proverbs 1:20, it says, wisdom crieth without, she uttereth her voice in the streets, she crieth in the chief place of concourse, in the openings of the gates in the city, she uttereth her words, saying, how long, ye simple ones, will ye love simplicity? And that simplicity is dealing with the naivety of you Jakes, you so-called Negroes and Latinos and Native Americans. Your willingness to be uninformed, your liberty to be disobedient. So it says, and the scorners delight in their scorning, and fools hate knowledge. Let's read that in the NLT, verse 22 again. It says, how long, you simpletons, will you insist on being simple-minded? How long will you mock? You mockers relish your mocking. They love it. All right. How long will you fools hate knowledge? All right. And it ain't like Esau ain't been coming after Jake. He's always been coming after Jake, but now they're going to start targeting you Jakes that feel that you're safe. And the Lord is about to allow it. Okay. So what's not more safer than being at a family reunion? Now in America, that's going to be the worst place to be, And that's why we really don't have family function, because we don't live in a time where you could be part of the world, because so much chaos is about to ensue, because people in the world are being aggravated to become more angry. They're intentionally being aggravated to become more angry, to bring about an outcome. All right. civil unrest, which is going to call for, martial law and the authorities to come in. Okay. And then it's going to be back to Jim Crow, 2.0. No gathering and all that type of stuff. So let's continue. My bad. Yeah, in the future, that's going to be definitely, we're going to hear a lot more of that. All right. Now, mind you, Jake popped his ass, you know. So, the Lord didn't allow for him to take nobody's life. All right. So, in a sense, you can say the Lord spared him. But what's coming to, this should be a warning to you, Jakes, man. It should be a warning to you, Jakes, man, And we know, brothers, we ain't even nowhere near no functioning like this, Look, in and out, high and by, we don't live in that type of world no more where you can be, how the scriptures say, worried about anything. It says it in a different way, or caring for nothing or something. Yeah, he shot at them, he got shot, and now he got charged with aggravated assault. Yeah, and they might not even hit him with no good, real, good charges. And put him away for some time. See, and then Jake don't get mad about that. You see what happens to Carmelo Anthony, and people are really stirred up about that as well, especially you so-called blacks. And when you get the details to that Carmelo Anthony situation, his trial, I see why a lot of people feel the way they feel, But the whole thing is that we can't get caught up in it because we understand certain judgments are taking place in this world, and the Lord is about to allow, spirits that are created for vengeance. They're going to go out and, those spirits is going to bring havoc to this world. All right. And if you want to know what precept I'm talking about Sirach, the 39th chapter. Okay. And here, I don't want to play it for you. I just mentioned it. You can read the precept yourself. Let's see here. Yeah. Oh, we're not listening. Ecclesiastes 39 and 28. Yeah, there be spirits, right? Creative for vengeance. So you can get it. There be spirits that are created for vengeance, which in their fury shall lay on sore strokes. In the time of their destruction, they pour out their force and appease the wrath of him that made them. Fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions and serpents, and the sword punishing the wicked to destruction. So that's what's coming upon the world. And if you're not aligned in the right spirit, calling on the right name, then you're going to be subject to these different spirits that's going out, bringing judgment upon the earth. All right. So, I mean, I don't want to go too far, you know. Um, Definitely, this is, again, a pretense of, more rash and boldness of so-called white man, you know, and is that hatred really, really showing towards you so-called blacks, you so-called natives, and and Latinos. And the Northern Kingdom has been catching it. They've been, and as of now, they've been dying in detention centers in the ICE detention, you know, and they going through it, man. And it's only more evil to come. So, Lord willing, this is edifying. Until next time, I say shalom.